somebody told you, nah, you're never going to amount to anything. You're not going to work. This isn't going to work out. And you just showed them wrong. It's called Look at Me Now.
Let's go to Tyler, because I think he has an interesting job after being told that he was just doubted in general in school. Good morning, Tyler. Welcome to the Roula Show.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Hey, Tyler. No problem. Share with us your story for Look at Me Now.
Hi. I graduated high school in 2012. I'm not from the U.S. I'm from a country called Belize. So I graduated in 2012 at 18 years old. I had a math teacher in my last year of high school that told me that I wouldn't be anything in life. And I do admit that I was a troublemaker, but my grades were always good. I just don't know why she didn't like me. And fast forward to 2 years later, and I graduated from flight school with a multi-engine rating. So I fly multi-engine airplane. I also have a single-engine rating. Wow. So I fly multi and single-engine airplane. And I went back to the high school to say hello to all my teachers. And I went to her, and she didn't want to talk to me. I went there with my pilot uniform and everything. And then 2 years later, after I got my pilot's license, I went to school and I got my license to fix airplanes. So I work on big airline jets now.
Because that was probably something that actually interested you. You weren't so, interested in that stupid math.
Absolutely. My dad was a pilot. There's a lot of math involved in being a pilot.
But once you put it to practical use, you got to put it to practical use. When you just see it sitting there on paper and they're, counting how many twigs can fit into a tree, it doesn't matter to you. But when you're
they taught me in school, RBIs for baseball players or how much they got a 5-year contract. They got $70 million. How much is that over each year? Do they got a 10% bonus. Then I'd be like, I'm interested in this.
Yes. So congratulations, Tyler. We're so glad that you were able to come up out of that.
Shame on her for saying that. You should never. I mean, we love teachers. There's always going to be a bad apple somewhere, but
there's more positive teachers than there are negative.
Absolutely, but you should never tell somebody, a student or a child, you're never going to amount to anything. That's horrible.
Let's go to Liza, I want to say. Is this Liza on the Roula and Ryan Show?
Yes, this is Liza.
Hey, Liza, good morning. You want to share with us your Look at Me Now story?
Yes, I do. My son, Angel, he is about to be 16. When he was born at 24 and a half weeks. They said he had 2 weeks to live. So he pretty much was in the hospital for about 8 months. When he came out, he was on a feeding tube. And they said that he will probably not be able to talk, not be able to walk, not be able to see. And he can do all that now. He does have autism, but that's nothing compared to what he's going to have.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
When they told you that, though, what are you thinking at that time when they say this?
Miracles happen. And pretty much, the doctor did tell me when he left the hospital that it was a miracle. So
I always tell people that people need to...
Yes.
Have positive thoughts, and you want to prove everybody wrong.
I think a lot of times doctors have to give you the worst case scenarios, and I think they're doing that to cover their own butts, a little bit. Like, hey, this is what can and will happen or might happen.
Maybe to prepare you as well.
Yeah, exactly. But man, to be told that your child's not going to live 2 weeks, and now here he is, he's 16, and he's pretty functional, pretty normal. So that's awesome.
And one thing that, all the guys in here will never know is, about having kids and, especially having kids while in high school. She just dropped off the line, but she did have a kid at age 15 and age 17. And she also went back to school, finished high school, and made it all the way to college. So congratulations. I just missed the name. I'm sorry. She dropped right off there. I was ready to go to her. Alrighty. And you're gone. Let's go to Rachel here. Rachel, welcome to the Roula and Ryan Show, and tell us about your dad.
Oh, hi. So 24 years ago, I was 12. My dad had a massive heart attack, and we did not know it. We took him to the hospital because he was coughing up blood, and he passed out. When we got there, they told us that he had what they call a widowmaker heart attack, and that he wasn't going to live through the night. Then it continued. He was not going to live through the week. He's not going to make it, a month. And then it just kept going on and on. And so he's been alive 24 years, and he and my mom just celebrated their 53rd anniversary last Tuesday.
Wow, he survived a widowmaker.
Wow.
I thought once that happens, it was over.
Yeah.
Well, no, Widowmakers.
Isn't it all of them blocked?
Yeah, that's what killed my dad.
No, he lost his entire left ventricle. So, and they found over the years that his heart has actually compensated and started building like little spider veins on the back. But he survives on medication. He's never had a surgery. He's still alive and kicking and cracks us up.
That's incredible.
That is awesome.
So that must have been like a quadruple bypass.
Well, what she's saying is, like, so the artery was blocked, but it formed new veins around it, like smaller.
He didn't have surgery. He didn't have surgery then, though, right? He didn't have surgery right then. So
he's never had a bypass.
He's never had any kind of surgery other than eventually they put in a pacemaker.
Okay.
But yeah, he survives on blood thinners and all kinds of medications. My mom takes care of him religiously. She's always giving him his medicine. But yeah, he's still alive and kicking. They told us, it won't be a week. It won't be a month. It won't be a year. And they just kept going. And we just were like, well, he's proven him wrong.
Right. And how many times do you have to say goodbye, essentially?
Yeah, you're looking every time he's breathing. You don't know.
Yeah.
You're like,
the hardest time. Yeah, the hardest time was when he first went into the hospital because they told us essentially start planning a funeral.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, so, I mean, I went to school to be a medical assistant, and my teacher actually asked me to bring him into class because she told everybody, he's a miracle. Like, look at his EKG. He shouldn't be alive. And, like, the doctors see his EKG now, and they freak out because they're like, oh, my God, he's dying. And we're like, no, that's his normal EKG.
He's still alive.
It's like a medical marvel. That is amazing.
Sure.
Thank
Rachel,
you for sharing.
what is your dad's name? Do you want to give him a little shout out?
Yeah, his name is Reggie. And yeah, him and my mom just celebrated 53 years last Tuesday.
All right, congratulations.
Reggie.
Thank you.
That is awesome. So you can always leave your comments on the listener line, 713-278-VEN. I love going through that listener line, and sometimes I'll just be sitting at my desk and I'll get a little choked up. It is so motivational.
If you have a down day, you hear these
it gives people hope.
You're like, wow.
And we want to definitely acknowledge Savannah, who is doing well in nursing school after her mom had such disbelief in her. So congrats, Savannah. And Hilda was married at 17, and she's been married for 14 years, so proving folks wrong.